wrong as the Yone from Chovy will get banned away, and I'm sure he's going to be looking towards something else that can have a big impact. It's not going to be the Rumble, it's going to be the Jax instead.
Do you think they prioritize the Akali? Do you think that they
I think they will, yeah.
Because like it's clearly proven that I don't think that Chovy was the difference maker in that game, but I felt that he could do more on Yone than he could do on the Azir, which in and of itself was already a big difference, and maybe BLG felt that pressure. So now I wonder if the game plan here from Gen G is, hey, you know what? Let's actually just make sure we get Chovy something that he can have agency on. The Rumble,
yeah, Rumble
still
Maokai,
available.
Right? Like that's what I'm looking towards here. There's two options. Either we go Rumble Maokai or we go Rumble Vi. And the Vi would set up something like an Ari from Chovy.
Even a Nico if you wanted it.
Nico, yeah, another possibility.
Nico.
And I think this is a good choice for Gen G. I think that they have seemingly realized if you just let BLG play the game, you are going to get run over. In the last game, they got away with it through some great team fighting in the mid game, but it was still a very, very close affair. We'll see if Peanut can recuperate from some of the mistakes he's made this series on this Vi. And yeah, it's 100% going to be a Chovy pick on R3 here.
The Nico, I think Nico is also pretty good into the Akali as well, so kind of deters that pick. The Cassante locked in for Bin. He's hovering it. I feel like something like an Ari might be better when paired up with a Vi into this matchup. I'm not saying that it's an easy one, but I can tell you right now it's easier than playing Akali into Nico because that's just a really miserable experience.
It feels like you're not going to have any fun in the laning phase, and then even after that, are you actually going to be able to stick on towards that backline?
He's doing it.
Akali locked for Chovy, and we give credit to Gen G for being momentum-based. Well, in Game 3, it was those comfort picks that really helped them. The Yone going over to Chovy here. Another comfortable pick for him in the Akali. Will it be enough to keep Gen G in this series? Caitlyn banned away. Probably going to see a slew of AD carries removed here. The Nautilus removed by BLG. Rakan has been off the menu alongside that Renata for basically the whole series.
A few things I think BLG have learned in this series is number one, take delight off of engaged supports.
Yeah.
And number two, try and take that agency away from Chovy. And while I do think that Nico into Akali can be good in the early laning phase, later on, the moment that Nico uses her E, there's nothing she can do to stop an Akali. So in a side lane, this champion is going to become a massive threat. I think that synergistically, when I look at what Gen G have for themselves, I don't love everything that they've put together, but Rumble Vi I still think can be an effective combo when it comes to locking down an AD carry. And Gen G are removing those hyper-scaling AD carries as well. Caitlyn's going to be taken away, the Aphelios removed away from Elk as well. The question is, will he go to his tried and true Jinx? Or what else could we potentially see from Elk?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they're 100% looking to go for the Kai'Sa, so I'm really happy to see that
though,
being banned away. That is true. Would be a lane-focused pickup for Pace and the Light, which is not where they have excelled. Obviously, Pace's predecessor, Ruler, was notorious for getting Kalista banned even when it wasn't meta, just because his dominance in lane on the champion was absolutely monumental. We're going to see the R5 counter pick, like BLG used. Gen G's going to try again, this time with a Kalista.
It's only Paze's 6th Kalista game across the course of his career. Obviously has been a relatively short career, only a couple of years so far. BLG can look for aggression to match aggression in the bottom lane. Tristana for Elk would be very powerful.
I like the Ashe more.
Ashe Braum is actually hellish to play into if you're Kalista.
There's two things attached to this. Ashe into Kalista is good. Ashe into Akali Rumble, not so good. So for now, they're going to lock in the Tahm Kench. The question is, what are they going to do? You can see the discussion from the coaching staff. What are they thinking about? What AD carry? They wanted a little bit more time. Will they go for something like this area? Or the Jinx? Elk's Jinx?
Getting excited for Elk's Jinx. Instead, the Ashe now hovered for BLG, and looks like that is going to be locked in.
Yeah, BLG trying to get the best of both worlds, where you get the Ashe into Kalista matchup, which obviously you're going to be very happy about, while simultaneously having at least some sort of defense. I actually think Kench into like Akali and Vi feels amazing. I do think though that this should be a counter pick for Delight, which would make the lane maybe...
I'd like Bard here, I was going to say. I'd really like Bard here actually. The round kind of works
more in Delight's wheelhouse.
It is very much more in his wheelhouse. I'm a bit more disappointed in it, but he's still an incredibly good round.
Still from Ral can be pretty effective against the Tahm Kench. But alright, Gen G. I would say the closest thing we saw to a composition like this was when they played into T1. a lot more early game focused. They fell short in the early game, then actually came back in the later game team fights. I don't think it's imperative that they actually get mid ahead. I think that it's important that they get Doran through the laning phase. And I also think that it's important that they find some advantages in the bot lane 2v2. Ashe Tom can be super obnoxious to play against. But yeah, I think that this game is going to come down to a lot of teamfight execution. And this is where I think a champion like Akali Vi can really thrive and make life difficult for Yagao and Elk.
It's also with the Nico and Ashe, I think BLG do have the ability to try, and even if one of those two gets taken out, you still have the Jarvan, which early game is a big threat. I do think both teams are going to feel a little bit worried if this goes to late. I think Ashe does have a lot of power, especially compared to the Kalista, but then the other parts, right, particularly the Akali, I think in a side lane is going to be... There's no answer for anyone on BLG, but I do think Genji's early game, not traditionally where they excel, and you have a mid lane that's going to lose a lot of prio in the first 6 levels, and a bot lane that needs to get out, so even more so than ever, it's going to come down to the jungle. I think Peanut and Shun, who gets to have the biggest impact here?
The crowd woken from their slumber by Genji picking up again in this series. I will also say, we've seen a lot of tech of the Akali-Nico matchup. If you are Akali and you hit Nico with an ability, if Nico is a minion when you hit her, you don't get your passive. You don't get to run in and out and get the extra auto attack. She's classed as a minion. AP8 brought that up on his Twitter, and we have all been amazed by it ever since. Alongside that,
I played a lot of Akali, and I think I played it into Nico as well a bunch of times, and I've never once experienced that interaction. That's pretty funny.
The other side of the interaction is, if Nico hits you with a spell and she's a minion, you don't get your Doran shield or your second wind regeneration because she's a minion. And so it can be a very tricky lane for the Akali to play.
Couple of notes here. We already see the level 1 being very nicely utilized by BLG as they go in really aggressively here, knowing that Genji doesn't really get to contest. So that means Peanut's going to be set behind very early on. We also have Doran, who didn't go for Ignite. We see that mostly into the Cassante. Bin also not opting into the Aftershock, which is common tech you see into the Rumble, so you can at least win the short trades. Not going to be the case here. And with Doran going for TP, his impact on the map should be greater. This early vertical jungling, though, I think exactly what BLG want, right? Try and keep this Kalista lane down right from the get-go.
Seen this Peanut pathing a few times through this series. We'll see if he realizes, well, he does know he needs to vertically jungle because there was that ward on the Grom. Could, of course, look up towards the top lane, try and put Bin behind if a Rumble can start taking over. Can be dominant. For the moment, though, just on his Krugs, clearing out that top side. Chovy with a ward as well to spot Shun if he does decide to path across towards his blue. And it looks like instead he's just going to play around that bottom lane.
Yeah, this matchup is really fun if your name is Akali. She'll do what she can with Doran Shield and Fleet Footwork. But same for the bot lane, 2 versus 2.
He's already down to 250 HP. Elk with the slow as well. Remember, that slows Kalista's attack speed, not only her movement speed in the lane. That's why Ashe so good into the Kalista.
Oh, look at the pivot here. Peanut realizes that his bot lane is at the risk of getting dove. Decides the better of it. Yeah, Shun adjusting his pathing. I think he got spotted on the ward as well.
He cancelled his back. Peanut is going to go for the blue.
So Peanut is on a ward. I think Shun, as you say, was spotted on the ward by the Razor Beaks. But
Doesn't
Pays
matter.
is Delight. You need one more minion. You need something. Get that level 2. There we go. Delight has it. So does Pays. Shun looking for this. A lot of minions going to be lost to the tower. TP in from Doran, but he can be stopped by Bin, and he is, in fact, in the top lane. Delight look for the engage. Flash away from On. Shun can go in now. EQ flash away from Pays. The flash doesn't follow, but Pays is dead. The flick back onto On is not enough. On not tanking the tower. Abyssal Voyage forward. The dodge from Delight. He still has flash. Elk now tanking the tower. Shun and On haven't hit Delight. And so in the end, it's a play, it's a kill, it's everything BLG wanted.
Still going to be a really big win, and it's On and Elk that secure the initial advantage. Get Pays low, and it's then the pathing from Shun, pivoting away from trying to maybe punish Peanut in the pure 1v1. Instead, going towards that bot lane, and now you have Elk, who is sitting at a 15 CS lead and a kill. into a Callista.
It's a bit of a disaster in the bot lane 2 versus 2. The split map from the jungle, the slow stacking wave into the dive, just something we've seen from Shun time and time again, and something that they execute to perfection. Medic, you highlighted it. The TP gets interrupted here from the Rumble. Great positioning from Doran initially to be like, okay, I'm here to assist, and then the TP comes through and BLG is like, all right, that's fine. Bin interrupts it. The comm is very clear. And then they go, oh, that wave is still big enough that we can commit to the dive. Still only level 2 for the bot lane of Gen G, and they make it look easy.
It says a lot as well as to the advantage that was already accrued in terms of health, that the flash flag and drag doesn't even hit, and it's still enough to take down the Callista there. He's really going to suffer. We'll see if Peanut, once he hits level 6, is able to get anything going towards that bot side, but right now, BLG have him right where they want him. Peanut looking for a lane gank here.
And Shun's coming down as well. This wave pushing away from Pays and Delight means that Shun can just push forward himself. Elk trying to open up with the Rangers. Focus, the engage onto Elk. He still has flash heal, but he doesn't have time to get out. Delight gets the kill. Not what you would have wanted for Gen G. Meanwhile, Bin trading with Doran in the top lane, and I know who's winning this one. Cassante doing Cassante things as the double flash has been used, but there's no dodge for the Q3 unless Doran puts on his dancing shoes. Can't find them in time. Bin with a solo.
Look at the frustration on the fans' face. Elation as they get a big kill in the bot lane, and then disappointment as Bin wins out in the 1v1 top. The gold still remains even. Gen G will secure the first dragon of game 4. They're definitely not down and out just yet, but they needed to make something happen. Bot Jun now looking for something.
Down looking for flank. There's no flash on Pays, none on Delight either, or even Peanut. Pays pops the cleanse, but he's being locked up, and he'll be shut out of the battle. Shun takes the kill. Delight next on the menu. He's ready for a tongue lashing. Yagao flashes, but can't get in range to find the Pot Blossom. Delight escapes.
And it's the aggression of BLG again, as Gen G think, hey, after that bot lane play, we can go for Dragon, right? No, BLG is not gonna let you have that one without contesting. And even though they're not able to get the light as well, still a really big win, as the Callista now 0-2 should be able to pick up most of this wave, but it is the contest here with the priority roam from Yagao, plus his health advantage being really big.
I mean, Pays just gets completely isolated, doesn't he, as well? The fact that Peanut's kind of zoned away thanks to On using that Tahm Kench to just get in between the jungle and Delight means that there's nothing that the AD carry can do. And Gen G ended up losing a kill in exchange for the Dragon. 1k gold now, the advantage for BLG. Not the end of the world completely for Gen G. And I want to just draw your attention to the mid lane. We talked about how this can be a very difficult laning phase, but Chovy's doing a fantastic job finding really good trading windows and building a pretty healthy CS lead. And we talked about late game team fights in a side lane. The moment that E is used on Nico, it's very easy for Akali to do whatever she wants in the 1v1. And then this Cassante is going to be a nullifier, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to stop this Akali as we get later into the game.
Yeah, you're really looking at On just trying his best to eat up whoever Chovy is going to target, but we've seen Chovy be able to, even in the team fights, be able to output a lot of AoE damage. The big thing here for me as well is that with how the game early has gone, the Callista plan has not been going very well, and from this point on it is really hard to come back outside of like if you get completely untouched in an early skirmish. So it will come down, I think, to Chovy specifically. And this is a player who I think has maybe the worst reputation when it comes to international performances on this team, which is crazy to me. And I do think after this tournament it'll be more Doran and Peanut focused, as we do have a possible fight here.
You can see the move from Pays and Delight first from the bottom lane. They pushed in that wave. They're on their way up here to join. BLG posturing around the Rift Herald. Bin and Shun up towards that top bush. It looks like they might give up the Herald, but then look for something afterwards. The Scryer's Bloom will spot them out. Pings come out. And Gen G using the priority they have in the mid lane to make sure that Peanut can secure the second neutral objective for the LCK first seed.
So, I mean, this is, in terms of objectives, I would say the best we've seen from Gen G so far this series.
Yeah.
First Dragon, and First Herald. These are things that you should be getting when you're playing with a Kalista. You usually want to use her first item to look for fights, and I'm looking for a fight right now.
Season desist from Peanut could come in if he can get there in time. They're just trying to lock up Elk for as long as
The
possible.
level up!
Devour now used. He is level 6. The cease and desist. Will they wait in time? Peanut can't get in range. His flash about 5 seconds away.
Oh, a crucial level up there. If On doesn't hit 6 off of that wave, Elk is 100% dead. But instead, they get the ultimate, they get the ignite, and Elk gets out.
And Delight also not ticking over to 6. If he'd had the Magnet Storm, that might have been enough to keep the Tarm Kench, if nothing else, to burn the flash from the Tarm. But it wasn't quite enough. Props to Pays and Delight, though. They saw a window, they went for it. 0-2 on the Kalista. But they're demonstrating how powerful she can still be in the early game.
Especially when you have some CC that you can just chuck into the mix in the form of Delight. Fitz will voyage forward here by On as they try and clear out vision. Dragon up in a minute's time, 56 seconds on the Infernal Drake. And Genji will want to fight around it. Didn't get too many sums out of BLG, only the heal burnt for Elk, his flash coming back off cooldown. On, I believe, will have the Devour back up for this next fight. But still, cease and desist available for Peanut. Delight now ticking over to 6. All summoners available for Pays. And Chovy doing Chovy things, 108 CS. Building up towards that first item. Genji will be looking at this Drake with bated breath. Can they find it? Chovy pushing forward.
And it's kind of a must-win for them here with the Kalista composition. Chovy
able to dodge away, seen by Oracle's alteration, but only takes a bit of chip damage. Rifthold still available to Genji, but with the push in the mid lane, Yagao and Shun can now help On and Elk gain vision control.
And it looks like Genji not looking to actually contest this
Chovy.
early Drake. Chovy!
Pop Blossom just short. He dashes back onto Yagao, but Bin was there, so Chovy has to flash. Respects it.
Actually, I think Yagao would have hit the root if he didn't flash there. So then Bin could have changed his CC. It would have been enough. That should still be the Drake going over. Doran picks at least up a little bit of gold, but I think BLG is going to take that trade anytime as they're teleporting in.
5 second on face call. Delight and Doran looking for something here. The equalizer could come down, but just wasted in the end.
What is the game plan there for Genji? The Dragon's already dead. BLG are obviously disengaging. I guess the logic is that they want to zone Elk and On away from the bot lane. So
Yeah, they also have
funnel
Herald.
plates. They
So they
do
wanna
have the
try and-
Herald, alright.
TP. Bin realizes the plan.
Now they have to
But he's
dive.
alone.
But Shun is on his way. Like, can you kill Bin? At this point, you
We're
have
about to find out,
only a
medic.
Divine Sundra. The equalizer down onto Bin. Doesn't take too much damage. The Rift Herald charges in. The Magnet Storm there as well as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits underneath the tower. Bin dashing away. Surviving Fate's Call used as well. But Peanut, with excessive force, finds the kill. Does mean the tower doesn't fall. Pays will be able to get 3 plates out of it. Counter TP used up towards the top side as Chovy answers Yagao's push. Elk is pushing in mid.
Excessive force indeed. That is a lot invested, and it almost goes wrong, but they will be able to pick up the kill and also put a lot of gold into Pays. This player had been put down by the early attention from Shun, plus the 2v2 from Elk and On. And Genji finally able to get themselves to a gold lead here.
So I was skeptical of the TP, but credit to Genji, they were able to make it work very nicely. Overall, yes, they did lose the Dragon, but the amount of gold that they were able to invest in the bot side of the map, it seemed like a promising idea, the TP from Bin, but I think he immediately realized after the TP, hang on, I've completely isolated myself from the rest of the team. I think it was Shun that tried to make his way down bot lane to offer that assistance, but it was too late, and Genji committed 4 members to find that kill. So 3-2 is the kill score. Genji now have a 1k gold lead. And this early game overall is very even, but I think that when you kind of look at the context of the series, Genji's confidence is at an all-time high. You feel as though the momentum from BLG has just slowed down, considering for the first 3 games, they were just like, it felt like that they were unstoppable in terms of their early game fighting.
And a lot of that comes through allowing Chovy freedom on the map, as he will have later on, but also allowing Pays and Delight a bit more freedom in the bottom lane. This game has been a bit more tricky.
Look, Steve's still there. He's doing his best.
Yeah.
I think he might get taken down here, but hopefully he hangs out around for a little bit longer. Hey,
He's
still
still
good
there.
to go. So what I want to highlight as well is that Chovy hasn't actually been involved in any of these plays. And he is at a 160 CS at 14 minutes as a Kali. Once he actually starts joining these skirmishes, we'll see how BLG finds a way to deal with it. I do think that the BLG wombo combo between Cassante, J4, and Nico is something that we haven't really seen them get an opportunity to use.
True.
And it's something that Gen G really needs to respect.
There's something about Akali in this comp that just looks really good to me. I feel
It's a
like
gut feeling.
Well,
I think it's the nameplate just above it. I'm gonna be honest.
Helps.
I mean, I'm a big Akali fan. I play her a lot, and there are like definitely good games and bad games depending on the comp that you're playing against. And you're definitely right. In the hands of Chovy, I just look at what you're playing into, the carries, and like aside from Tom Kench, where I might see it right here.
Just looking for Elk, maybe trying to get the Devour down. Does have the flash, doesn't have the flash in fact to get away and try to Crystal Arrow into the Magnet Storm. Chovy extending forward, but the Devour still available for BLG here as Pace tries to get on towards the back line, but Delight now pulled out with the Fate's Call. Abyssal Voyage forward by On. Chovy walking away, wounded. On with the flash forward, and Shun coming in from the side. Chovy cataclysmed and brought to his knees, and BLG strike.
I mean, that may be the biggest caster curse I've done in recent history. Hang on.
They thought it was on, it was Yagao, and he has the time to flash and escape. The Drake's still 50 seconds from spawning. We're fighting over a blue buff.
The Akali will be back alive and has TP soon.
Yeah, we'll see though, because that was a really heavy investment. If they get Drake, I think BLG call worth, but otherwise, like that is, what, 4 flashes?
True.
In the end,
Yeah.
just to kill Chovy, who didn't have his flash available, does end up going down. But I think it depends on who actually gets the setup for this dragon here. Ocean Drake, particularly with how much sideline action I expect, going to be really big here.
And Yagao didn't complete the Rocket Bell. He went back to base, didn't have enough money, and now the TP has been used. So I thought that Chovy was actually going to look for a kill here, but decides, you know what, it's not worth it. He looks at the position on the map and realizes this isn't a good fight for me. Good ultimate from Elk. And then Delight is kind of forced to fight here to keep his mid laner alive. Pace gets zoned out of the fight, nice, thanks to a nice route from Yagao. And then Genji are immediately forced to retreat. You're going to see him land a good ultimate here, and he's going to get that shutdown as well. So 400 gold goes over to Shun. And with the Herald being secured, perhaps that's an opportunity for Genji to cross-map and trade for the Dragon.
Would be their second of the game. There's Dragon stalling a little bit after managing to pick up the first one, but they do still have 1,000 gold lead here, even if the kill scoreline is a little bit misleading. A lead for Peanut and for Chovy. Not as great as they would like this portion of the game.
And this is something that Gen G was known for in the LCK as well, being able to get favorable macro trades. We'll see if they get the Dragon though, particularly with the opportunity for BLG to just overload and just throw down a Herald, try and push down. They can do that. They can also look for a contest.
BLG have given up the ghost on this one. You can see Yagao walking
Yeah.
forward. Nah, I'm just going to clear the wave.
Not feeling it.
Just taking the red as well. And I think a lot of it comes down to what you mentioned, Chronicler, which is they invested a lot. Yes, you have Pop Blossom. Yes, you have the Cataclysm, but you don't have Flash on any of your bot side of the map, or your jungle, or your mid. So if you look for more, Gen G can collapse on you. Magnet Storm back up. There's a Rift Herald in the mid lane as only Paze is there to try and dissuade BLG, so it will be at least 1 tower. Maybe 2 if they wanted to go in with the charge, but it looks like instead they will retreat and work their way towards the top side. No vision here for Gen G. Oh, this control ward deep behind, and BLG's blue. Can Chovy survive what could be a 5-man dive? Yagao coming in as a clone of Elk, and Chovy will realize as the arrow hits, he might be just caught out. He tries to flash, but he can't get away in time. Knocked back with the Intofos, and Chovy stayed a little bit too long. Didn't respect the arrow from Elk.
Nice snipe comes through from Elk. Now BLG with, I was going to say 5 members strong, but Bin choosing to reset means that they can continue this siege onto the top tier 2.
And that is also Chovy investing his flash. Right in the previous play, didn't have it. So it's going to be a very favorable trade here for BLG. Gen G is able to answer. So it's not the end of the world, but still a big win. They might be looking to try and catch some stragglers here. Chovy does have TP, but doesn't look like anyone is going to be available, and it'll just be Gen.G trying to make the best of a rough situation.
Peanut spotted an award as he jumped into the Baron pit. I mean, I think Shun maybe would have stayed around, locked up for a second, and another, but even with the Ignite, Shun able just to gore drinker his way away as Delight knocked back over the wall there by Peanut. Not sure that was the intention, but it was the conclusion of the play.
Hang on now. I don't love this invade from Gen.G. Now just taunting.
Oh, okay. Peanut tried to smite as the patience ran out.
Yep.
And Shun got the smite on the way back.
That's unfortunate for Peanut. It was a little scary because of the numbers the BLG had, but the Gen.G were able to get away. Gold pretty much dead even now. It's kind of been a back and forth of a 1k shift from either side. And oh, he stuck his way. Yagao is so suspicious though. He doesn't like it.
Chovy looking for it. Yagao still has flash. Chovy able to dash away.
And something I want to highlight is the fact that so many of these players from BLG have been set up by Elk. And we've seen a lot of Elk like team fight carry in this tournament. There's Tristana, there's Jinx, right? But Ashe is, I think, such a different champion from a very stylistic point of view, where so much more of the value comes from the ultimate, plus your ability to consistently hit arrows. And thus far, I feel like Elk has done a really good job of consistently finding these arrows towards the side lane, setting up and leading to the kill score lead for BLG.
As the tempo and the pace of the game slows down a little bit, I have to feel we're just waiting for the next Drake to spawn. Would be third of the game for Gen.G. They'd wish that was four. Obviously BLG getting that earlier Drake slowed down their game a lot. For BLG, still only one game away from making it to quarterfinals, from joining Weibo. First time we've ever had 4 LPL teams in the quarterfinals, and maybe if things go the way the top side of the bracket could be going, maybe the first time we've ever had all LPL semi-finals as well. I think people will look at that bottom side of the bracket and think, well, JDG probably, and then T1 LNG, a very close series. The era of LPL dominance returning after a brief delay last year at Worlds. Peanut stepping forward here as the engage comes in from BLG, and Peanut's locked up. Yagao pops Blossoms as Gen.G starts to go pop. The equalizer coming down, and Shun now on the wrong side of the rip, but he can just EQ back to join his team. Pays booted with the tangle bars as Chovy looks for the backline of the Devour. Saved for this eventuality, he has to dash away, and a perfect execution from BLG.
And that's vintage Peanut! Just steps forward, gets caught, and now BLG making their way over to the Baron.
No smite for Gen.G, but a fight perhaps begins to materialize. No tangle barbs, remember, for BLG, only the Cataclysm. The Devour put on. Do you go in with the Magnus Storm? You do. Delight tries to dive in. Doran trying to burn BLG alive as On is taken out, but the re-engage from BLG. Perfection executed once again. Doran and Chovy in a 2v4 fighting for the lives of Gen.G, for the lives of the LCK, but can't find it. BLG get the Baron.
A fantastic play from BLG. That pick from Peanut is exactly the window that they were looking for. Without a second of hesitation, they start the Baron, and they find themselves even more kills.
And Peanut walks up here, but BLG is so ready. It's again the arrow, the setup is there, and then the chase down comes through. Gen.G have to invest so much. The Fate's Call, the ultimate, and the summoner, or the cleanse rather, from Pays, meaning that even with Bin coming in, he isn't even necessary. He's just there to secure the Baron.
It's also just a disjointed engage. The Akali ultimate is now unavailable. Like, Delight goes in, but what do they really have to reliably follow up? There's the engage. Pays does what he can. Torin is standing on the edge. Chovy drops, what, a bit of damage onto the support, onto the Tahm Kench. It's an easy turn for BLG, and they'll get a dragon to boot.
And now Gen.G staring down a very long walk back into this game. 2 items complete on Pays, Ginsu's and the Blade of the Ruined King. Yagao here, cease and desist coming out as they try and lock him up. Doesn't have the flash, but has the pop. Blossom, Chovy dashes in, dashes back, dashes out, and dashes forward for the kill. Peanut takes it.
Can they get out though? Looks like they will be. BLG don't want to overinvest towards the top side of the map. On the cross map, Bin is able to still push, but the Red Bull Baron power play is going to lose a lot of momentum from that pick.
TP now coming through. But as you rightly said, it will slow BLG down a little bit, but I don't know if it's enough. The wave clear. Oh!
Agnesor flash engaged, the equalizer down as well as the TP. Genji have pulled the trigger, and they're looking to burst out Elk. Chovy dashing around, and Elk will fall. It's hunting season for Genji, and they found what could be the biggest kill of them all. They found a way back into game 4.
I thought that it wouldn't be enough, but Genji just shut me right up. A beautiful engage in mid lane, catches BLG completely off guard, and just like that, as you said, Medic, Genji have found a lifeline.
Might be able to get the kill on Bin here as well, and he's going to be disjointed, uses the mobility.
Oh god, Cassante things.
Bin just doing Bin things here on the Cassante, and Tofu's come out.
Shields!
The Slink Sword Plate is not enough. The shield's not enough to keep Cassante alive. Genji get those death timers on a bit of an uneven keel. Still only 1,000 gold in it, but look at this. The light just decides to go in.
And there is a reason why Genji fans were saying, why is the light not on engage? It's moments like this. He was able to do it on Breon, he's able to do it on Genji. And it is a really important moment, because as you're saying, with the Red Bull Power in favor of BLG, they were pushing. It starts with the pick towards the mid, or towards the top side of the map on Yagao, but then they're able to actually take down, and you can see the tense coaching room there for Genji. They know what's at stake here.
I mean, Peanut completely redeemed the misplay that he made earlier, nullified the Baron, and now both objectives, 2.5 minutes until they're back out onto the map. More time for both sides to farm, more time for items to be completed. But again, I draw my eyes towards the mid lane, and I look at these items now being finished for Chovy. Level 15, soon to hit level 16. Elk?
Elk has flash heal. He tries to get across the wall and gets into the Razorby pit, but on is deleted. Chovy looking for more. He's going to dive forward into 4 members. He has a stopwatch, but does he have enough time? Hot Blossom comes out. Chovy survives as he gets off towards the top side, and there is Yagao. And Busan roars into life once again.
Wow! And there is no objective up, but Genji, it feels different in this 4th game. They should be able to, at the very least, get themselves a turret here. And again, Yagao gets caught out on Dice, saving it.
The momentum has clearly swung. What felt like a doomed game state for Genji after losing that Baron, after losing the Dragon. It's just everything for Genji. Look at this play, Elk isolated. They cannot protect him, he's forced to flash over the wall, the arrow goes wide, the support is dead, and then look, Shun gets close to Elk, which means that Chovy sees that as a window, the stopwatch is good, and then he flashes away from Yagao, who's then left isolated by his team. Now Chovy in danger.
By himself down in the bottom lane, but he's going to get out to Hymnal, take a pew. BLG Church is in session with the Abyssal Voyage, trying to turn it back around. Chovy able to dash away, Peanut trying to get across the wall, and he dodges from the Tofu's not quite enough range, but Bin, the Dragon up in a minute, enough time for Genji to reset. Chovy almost scored out.
And there's that threat from BLG. A single misstep, and Genji can still get taken down in this game. Peanut forced to flash there, won't have that available. Be able to get onto the back line just as easy. Dorn didn't have teleport that crucially. Will be off cooldown just about now, meaning that if BLG, anything they would have gotten there, could have set up for this Drake. It is just soul points for either team, so I'm going to be surprised with the lack of control. BLG is going to say thank you to that one. They're also up, so you might even see him try to play towards that if Genji missed that.
I mean, so much of the credit needs to be given to the light. You guys were talking about him earlier. We're going to be keeping our eyes on him as the game continues. He made that mid-lane game-saving play. Let's see if he can find another. Shun looking for a fight.
Look away from Delight! Delight goes in! On trying to keep Elk alive. The pop blossom goes out just in time from Yagao. But Yagao is gone! And BLG might be too. Elk trying to do everything he can. Elk has been mounted on a wall! Delight survives! BLG die! Gen G do it all! They have fought back from the absolute game 2! And it looks like we're going all the way!
It's a Clean ace for Genji. The Nexus is in their eyes, and they're looking to...
Never mind. Out of the eyes.
Out of the eyes. Blinds put them back on. The Baron is in their eyes. What a team fight, and one engage, just as we were talking about him. Delight again. What an incredible engage. He finds 3 members, and how does Elk even get to play the game?
He doesn't! And to me, this Rumble, I don't even feel like Doran is necessarily having a pop-up game, but the Rumble has just made it so hard consistently. And as you already pointed out, the big enabler of all of this, it's the light. This man, I think his Enchanter play is fine, but these moments are what is winning Genji this game. And you see, even with Yagao trying to go for the ultimate, Genji plays very respectful. Bin actually, with some heroics, made that look close, gets multiple multi-man knockouts, but it just isn't enough because Paige and Chovy are unmatched.
Yeah, I mean, it's the combination of Rumble forcing all of those things out early, means that the Akali then has free reign on the backline, and there's nothing to stop Chovy from just assassinating Elk. And then while all of that is happening, Paige is untouched. So he's just freely dishing out this damage. 5 kills for him now. 2-1-11 for Doran. A 6k gold lead for Genji. They're looking to bring us to a game 5. The momentum has very clearly swung in their favor, and they will not slow down. They want to return to the World Semi-Final. They lost to DRX at the semis last year. They lost to BLG at MSI. And they want to prove that they can make the reverse sweep a reality.
Just the inhibitor line between them and the biggest prize of all, that Nexus.
The arrow?
The arrow onto Doran, but Delight is in the way. If BLG overstep, there's the equalizer already. Doran getting chunked out, and Doran is donezo. Chovy pushing in the mid lane. Delight can re-engage. No flash for him to disengage this, though. Shun misses the flag and drag across the wall. The stun from Delight. Chovy starting to collapse. There's the base call out. BLG could chase, but they decide instead to make sure their mid lane is still healthy. The inhibitor tower already down. TP now from Bin as he tries to make sure Chovy can't get another tower out of this push.
Really big window there for BLG. They're able, not window, just want to clarify.
I mean,
they're
both
able,
of them.
it actually is both. Yep. They're also able to take a lot of the wind out of the sails of these Baron power plays, which it has been something where Genji actually have been super consistent domestically. Like, when they get Baron, it's done, right? So picks like this on Doran, even with a stopwatch available, I might add, are really, really big and mean. BLG, even though they are down, they are not out. That wombo combo still exists. It just is more about, can they regain map control? Because I feel like that's been really kind of the advantage that Genji have had ever since that catch that they got here on mid. They just haven't really ever been able to get like Yagao with a big flank into the enemy backline.
I mean, a lot of these fights have actually been started by Genji.
Yeah.
Finding these opportunities, Delight being the initiator, and in an ideal world, you as BLG want to be the one starting off the fights. But Genji... Oh, Yagao. No, that's not the real
fake
one.
You can always tell if it's not the real one because it's just doing a helicopter motion somewhere randomly. It's like, could you really be doing that? I want to give credit to Delight as well for his itemization here. Abyssal Mask, second item, really strong when you have a Rumble and an Akali, and when you're diving into the backline, that magic resist shred, so powerful in situations like this. You may see the game slow down for the next couple of minutes. It's 2.5 on Soul for Genji and 2.5 on Baron for BLG or Genji, whoever decides to fight around it.
We're also starting at the point where there's a lot of defensive itemization available, right? So Bin was able to pick up a Renduance, already had a Stoneblade second. Then we have GA for both junglers here, and then double stopwatch on the side of Yagao and Elk, and then Doran and Chovy also with Zhonya's in the pocket. Pace just sporting a regular one. And for BLG, the item breakpoints could have been worse. I think only mid lane is where it really feels backbreaking. Outside of that, they have been able to stay on pretty decent item parity.
The tension mounts. The darkness is full of terrors.
Ocean again. It's so spooky.
I would say the Genji are the slightly spookier thing here, but that's fair. BLG have the...
Ocean's really deep, and we haven't explored like 90% of that.
Ocean
Could be
is
anything down
it's
there.
a dangerous place. BLG will actually make their way up towards the Baron side of the map. A minute and a half until that spawns. I guess with their mid-prio, they can kind of take as much space as they want. The wave clear... I mean, the wave clear in Siege from Gen G isn't the strongest. They really need another great fight to end this game.
See the Scuttlecrab taken by BLG. Gives them that little bit more vision. They know if they place any wards, they're not really going to stick. Shun here is on a ward. Chovy and Peanut were eyeing him up, but decide that tasty morsel can be left for later. Don't really want to go in where they're not quite sure where the rest of BLG are waiting.
Yeah, it's also between like Flag and Drag, Flash, GA. By the time you actually kill Shun, reinforcements surely will have arrived. One thing that is a tough cookie to crack for BLG though is like who actually deals with Chovy. I think right now, Bin's still able to match him relatively well with post-Void stuff. Is going to get harder as well. GA now done for Pace. We'll have that available in the upcoming fight. And feels like the last stand here for BLG to ward off a Silver Scrapes.
One last time.
Delight is the player to watch for Gen G. And if Yagao can find the flank, that'll be the difference maker.
The Devour immediately, Delight tanking up, but Chovy is being dealt with by BLG right now. The Pop Blossom doesn't find it. Pace flashes the wall and immediately engages. Chovy's on a rampage now. They are just grinding up BLG. A double for Chovy. They wipe them away. The TP towards mid. Gen G are done with this game.
He's 17 and he's flashing over a wall with his back against the wall. Pace still find the play. Bindo.
You know, relentless force and even more aggression from Gen G. Delight and Pays after being put behind in the early game are putting on a clinic here at 35 minutes. It's game 5, a reverse sweep on the cards for Gen G. And Busan and all Korea are behind them.
This series has taken a turn. After game number 2, it felt like a repeat of MSI. But now, 2-2.